Hey, this is Dylan. We are starting the first problem for the month of August, and my mouse is already low battery. So let me just pull out that cable just in case we have to worry about that. Let's see what we got here. Oh my god, it's stuck. It's literally stuck. That's unfortunate. Okay, now I got it out. All right, there's that, and there's that. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, let's get to leading now, just in case. Okay, sometimes it doesn't go out right away. So Pascal's triangle. I just came back from the sauna feeling good. Easy. Constraints are pretty low. Okay. Given an integer, numbers, return the first numbers of Pascal's triangle. Pascal's triangle, each number is the sum of the two numbers directly shown. Okay. So 1, 1, 1. And then, so this is the base case, kind of like where you have 1 and then 1 and 1. Or I guess, not necessarily the base case, like 1. It would be 0 and 1, 1 and 1. And you have 1 and 2, 1 and 2, and then 1 and 3, 3 and 3. Let's just think about how we're going to do this now. So, honestly, you probably, what is the easiest way to do this? So you have 1. Okay, what is the max size it can go up to? So for each level, it's the size. So since there's 30 levels, I'm gonna make a 2D array. Oh yeah, what if we just aligned it to the left here? Right, so imagine this is the left, an array. The leftmost array says 0th element, 0th element, 0th element, 0th element. So then the 0th element would be 0th minus 1 and 0th. This would be 1 and minus 1. Yeah. Okay. So this will be the result. And then we'll also have the result will have an initial Okay, I want the result to have an initial array of 0 in it times num rows. I want each of them to have 0 in it. And I'll get into y in a second. For I in range of num rows. I'm just going to remove this I because it's not necessary. It just makes things more clear. I just want to see print res here. What are we going to get? Are we going to get just... Yeah, we'll get a 2D array of an array that has... Well, I don't know if it's going to pass. I want it just like that, I think. Yeah, okay, I want an array of 0, 0, 0, 0. So what this is going to do is going to allow us to, when we're at this value and we want to check the -1th value, we will just check that 0 and we're going to add a bounds error. A little bit of an optimization there, kind of thinking ahead. And then res of 0. Yeah, it's great. Okay, res of 0, we could do that with assumptions that this is at least 1. Res of 0 out of and 1. So, great. So now we'll go for I in range of num rows. I guess to be more clear, we'll just do n equals the len of res. I think even though they're the same thing, just to be 100% clear, so we don't get any bounds issues. Um, we're gonna start at 1 actually, and then we're gonna do essentially just res of um, 0 plus res of, well, not 0, it would be res of I minus 1, which is the last value you see, and the current value. And then we essentially want to add that value to the array somehow. And this would be, we would add it to the lower level. So, or, wait, wait, am I thinking about this wrong? Sorry. I think we want to just, we want to go through, so for, we're at level, we start at level 1, so we want to go, we want to loop twice, boom, boom. So I plus 1. And then what we'll do here is we'll do res of I, which is the, we want to do I minus 1th level, and then the j minus 1. Yeah, so we get the previous levels. This is a little bit more complex than I thought it was going to be. Okay, so then we get the previous levels value. Wait, these are the same too. It should be just j. So we'll get the top right above it, and then the left of it. And then res of I dot append. So essentially, we calculate the value, then we append it to the specific array in res, and then we return res. So let's check over our work here. We create this, we know this is right. Then we append 1 to the top. Then we set the len of res, which is going to be 5 in this case. And we go through each value starting at 1, starting at the first layer. And then for each j value so for 2, essentially, for 2 iterations, we take the previous value, so looking up, 1, and going to the left 1, which is 0 here because it's 0, and then adding up 1 and its current value, which is 1. So we get 1. Then we go here. Yeah, I feel confident about this, actually. All right, let's see what we got here. And interesting. Well, first off, we're adding 0 to the front of all these, which is wrong. And it's an easy, but not necessarily an easy. Okay, I'm gonna put this like this. I'm gonna make these all zeros. plus 1. Yeah, we don't need len here. A little bit tricky. Let's be J here. All right, let's see what we're getting now. Getting 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. Okay, we're getting closer. But we're, yeah, this should be, okay, I see. We should have this res of 0, 0. Res of 0. Maybe that equals right, because we don't consider the first value. We skip it. We get 1. Then we get, wait, do we not even need this anymore? Or no, we, should be 0, 0. Because the first value looks up and to the left. Yeah. Yep. 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 So now we're getting all the right values. We just are now getting a bunch of zeros at the end. So we have to, I would, my suggestion would be to create another thing that like strips the zeros, essentially. A function strips zeros. Um, but is there a way to, yeah, I'm just gonna create a strip zero function. Um, just filter on if it's 0. But doesn't filter always say like I take one argument? Oh no, it doesn't. Okay, perfect. Well, I didn't even run it, but then we just call. I don't love this, but yeah, it's, I don't love like doing this, but function object is not iterable. It's like, do you want it like this? Right, but it wants them. You got to do it at the end because yeah, I'm doing a lot of optimizations here. I kind of want to build it up. Okay, the strip zero solution would work if we put it at the end. But now I'm wondering. I'm wondering if I can get this solution to work. Is there a better way to make like an empty array? I don't know. That's like the best way to do that. An empty array of arrays. So we add that. And then here would be dot append. And then we would have essentially a components list. And if okay, I think I see it. If res if I minus one, if do we care about j or I minus one? Do we care about I or j? There'll always be an I minus one, right? Yeah. So if j minus one is greater than zero, components dot res of I minus one, j minus one. If j is less than res of, we're essentially checking the len of it, making sure that we don't go over bounds. We'll add that. This is not an easy by any means. Like that, and then we just need res here. What are we at? 17 minutes? Yeah. And then res of I dot append the sum of components essentially, which could be zero, but I don't think they ever will be. And there's zero. This could be greater than or equal to. Yep. Okay. I think this is a better solution than having to do like deleting the zeros. Definitely faster. Um, but yeah, that's it for that one. I bet you some people have some really clean solutions. Oh, one solution. Okay, there's like a way to do this. It's a factorial, perhaps. Okay, wait, is that cheating? I don't know. Maybe. We're not gonna look at the old one. DP with math proof. Okay, no, we don't want that. Don't overthink a problem that's simple. You know, they're kind of doing the same thing we're doing. Yeah. Okay. Um, nested loop, C++. Let's look at a Python solution. Yeah, kind of similar. Okay, I think our solution's actually pretty nice then. All right, yeah, that's it for that one. Starting easy. It wasn't really necessarily easy. I would say like an easy medium. But you know, conceptually it was pretty easy. Uh, once you figured the once you figured out how to like align these, you know, this should also be index zero instead of like putting like 0 0 0 0 1 0 0 0. You put this to the left, it makes a lot more sense. And then I don't usually like to do this kind of check here. I think it's a little a little cheap, but I think that since we were outputting the actual array, I think it was worth it. That if we were just summing something or something like that, I would skip this. But since we actually are outputting this array, we want to keep it structured. That's why I would do these checks here. Yeah, and yeah, stay super.